gratitude,
Thank you for joining Chats Along the Path
cleaning,
with discussions about the 7
nature,
transformative practices of the 7-Way
walking,
Path. I'm Christian of Standing Stones
journaling,
Healing, inviting you to heal,
ritual,
grow, and transform with the 7-Way Path.
silence,
Thank you for walking the
gratitude,
path, and best wishes for your
cleaning,
journey.
nature.
Welcome to this episode of Chats Along the Path. In this episode, we are speaking with Katherine Cox, also known professionally as Ms. Dolphin. Katherine is a nature-inspired artist and educator from the Pacific Northwest, where she integrates school gardening, healing arts, and therapeutic horticulture with special needs children. She is a National Geographic certified educator and mentor, a certified Healing Through the Arts facilitator through the University of Florida's Arts and Medicine program, and trained in therapeutic horticulture at Portland Community College, as well as studied mind-body medicine at Evergreen College. Katherine operates her own therapeutic educational Dolphin Healing Arts and Nature program, supporting the healing and education of youth virtually and in daycare settings. She is a lifelong student, world traveler, and passionate about inspiring the creative spark within all of us, and she is here to talk with us about nature. Katherine, welcome to Chats Along the Path. Such an honor to have you here.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Christian.
Great, thank you. So, Katherine, let's just start by having you tell us a little bit about your experience with nature and nature as medicine.
Yeah, definitely. I've always loved nature. Even when I was a kid, we did lots of camping trips. I loved playing outside until the sun went down. It was dinner time. Um, I didn't realize that I wanted to work with nature professionally until about, I'd say 2016. I was serving in the National Health Corps Florida program, and I was running a tower garden program. And I remember looking at this tower and just being super intimidated, didn't know how to do anything with it, but I learned and I saw how much the kids loved growing their own food, and I realized how much I loved teaching them about it and how it made me grow as a person. And I realized that I wanted to do this forever, and it just changed something in me. And so then when I moved to Portland, I I started going to school to learn about therapeutic horticulture, and I met some really amazing people with all kinds of different ideas about how, like, we can, address food security, how nature is therapeutic and healing, how we can design and facilitate activities with different populations. I loved volunteering and just practicing implementing my own program and learning about all of the different, like, physical, emotional, cognitive, and spiritual benefits of nature. And I will say, as someone that has struggled with my mental health for most of my life, I really believe in the power of nature as an emergency medicine. If when you're having a mental health crisis or episode, in the moment, you can't just take a magic pill and have it stop in that minute. That's when you need to take off your shoes and go put your feet on the earth, even for a couple seconds, and it automatically just changes your brain chemistry. You need to go and look at a beautiful poppy or a tulip and just, the passive fascination is what's restorative to your brain and helps recalibrate it. Or they even say too, like, when you're working in an office, which I've done my share of that, working in office cubicles with spreadsheets, it's like my worst nightmare. I hate that. Whenever I needed to step away, which was usually every 20 to 40 minutes, I just needed to go outside and I needed to go look at something green, or a flower that was blooming, or even the animals, looking at the squirrels, the birds, anything with nature, it appeals to us at a primal level. You know, back in the caveman days, we were dependent on nature for survival, and so that's why people have a natural affinity towards nature and why it's so good for them. And even a view of nature, you know, they talked about in the 1984 View from the Window studies by Roger Ulrich. That's a really great uh, study to look up. And they talked about how they did an experiment with patients that had a view of nature versus a view of a brick wall. And the patients that had views of nature requested less pain medication, and they were able to discharge earlier, and they healed faster than the patients that had a view of a brick wall. And so it's documented scientifically that nature is healing and beneficial to people. We need it to survive today. And so thank you for reaching out to me to talk about this. I am very passionate about it, and I'm very eager to share my knowledge. And I hope it will help other people because it definitely has helped me.
Yes, that is beautiful. Thank you so much, Catherine. So, Catherine, one thing that you said that I found especially profound was this idea that, when we have challenges and we need medication, we can take the medication, but that takes some time to kick in. It doesn't start working right away. And yet we can go put our feet on the ground, and that does start working right away. I find that so profound.
It is. And I think that it is too often overlooked, um, especially when you're having an episode. And I can speak from experience from this, just struggling with my own mental health. Like when you get into that place, your brain just isn't working properly. You're not thinking in a healthy way. You're having a hard time problem solving, and it's weird, especially now at 34, and with all of the knowledge and experience and education that I have, I still get stuck sometimes. Like I'm so good at telling other people, like, you need to take a walk in nature for at least 20 minutes a day, or you need to go look at a flower for 5 minutes. Like you um and I've worked in social services, and I've helped low income people and vulnerable populations, and I do that today working with special needs children at Nisqually Middle School. And I'm so good at telling people that they need to do this, but when I'm having an episode and I'm really struggling and really down in the deep, down in the low, I forget, like, oh yeah, like I can go take a walk outside, and we forget that. And I mean, it's not something that doctors think to prescribe either. I mean, their training teaches them, like, you need to prescribe a pill, and that's been hard for me too, like, because my all of my knowledge and training has been in natural medicine, and I advocate for it, and it was hard for me to accept that I have one of those conditions where I do need to take a regular medication. I tried living without it, but my symptoms got worse as I got older, and it got to the point where it wasn't manageable anymore, and I needed to ask for help, and that was really hard. But I really strongly believe that nature, it can be supplemental to any person's treatment plan, whether it's your mental health or your physical. If you have physical disabilities, like a lot of our children do, like, I have students that need walkers or strollers or wheelchairs, and even them looking at a flower, or even like touching the dirt, or making a seed ball, or taking a leaf and rubbing it on paper with crayon and making leaf prints. There's so many different ways that we can integrate nature into our lives, and they get so excited about it. We even have a student, he's in a different classroom, but we all kind of work together, the three of us. And the this student, his favorite thing to do is run outside and grab a stick or like a tree branch. It's usually a tree branch, a Douglas fir, and he'll just run around the school with it. And then the teacher is like chasing him. And he just loves that. He loves being outside. He loves holding nature. He loves touching it. Um, and these are children that their whole life it revolves around going to the doctor and trying different therapies, and they work with OTs and PTs and speech therapists, and they have special resource teachers and life skills teachers, and they have all these different things that they need to do to facilitate their learning, adapted to them. And I really feel that when we're doing nature activities, it's like it's a break from outside what they're used to, and they get so excited to try something new. Some of the activities we're doing in our class right now, we recently did the seed balls. They're learning to grow butterflies from caterpillars. We have like a butterfly growing kit. We have a chia pet. And I also have one student he's such a great kid, and he saved his orange seeds from snack. And he showed me, Miss Dolphin, look, I have these orange seeds. Can we grow them into a tree? How can we do that? And I just love that he came to me and he initiated that, because after working with me for a school year, he knew that I would be able to guide him in this area. And it was like, oh, like I did my job. Like, he's interested in growing something. That's amazing. And it's especially profound for this kid because he uh he is in foster care. He has gone through a lot of trauma in his young life. And I would imagine um that can make you feel like you don't have a lot of control over your environment and yourself. And he's such a wonderful child. I could not imagine our classroom without him. And I love that he came to me with this. And I honestly didn't know. I just was like, I haven't grown orange trees before, but like, let's look up a video about it. And for morning meeting, we watched a video about how to grow orange trees from seeds. And we, gave him credit. Like, this student, John Doe, I'm not going to use his actual name. John Doe came to us with this activity. We're going to learn how to grow this. And we watched a YouTube video about it. And he took personal responsibility for caring for those seeds and helping me prepare them. And he keeps them in his cubby and he checks them every morning to make sure that they're growing and doing okay. And he gives me updates, and it's kind of like he's their dad. It's the sweetest thing. And so that's really cool. That's what we've got going on. Another big project. I want to talk a little bit about healing arts with nature, if that's okay, if we kind of, go off the path for a second. And I say that because I am an artist first and foremost. I initially thought that I wanted to be an art therapist. And healing arts has always been a big part of my life. Even when I was a patient at Seattle Children's when I was 12 years old, I really knew from an early age that I wanted healing arts to be a part of my life, and I want it to be a part of helping other people. And I've come to find that arts and nature have a symbiotic relationship. They naturally go together. One big project we did with our school this year for the pollinator project is we did a mural of 2 different butterflies, and I did 2 so we could make sure to include all of the kids in our sped department. And I designed the butterflies, and they had 12 by 12 squares. Each student got their own individual square to paint that was going to be a part of the picture. And the city of Olympia generously donated art supplies to our school. They gave all of the kids their own little set of acrylic paint with paintbrushes, and they got to paint and design their own square. And when we put it all together, we made this beautiful collaborative mural of these butterflies, and they were displayed at Spring Art Swap. It was a huge accomplishment for them, and they got to learn about butterflies and what it means what pollination is. And so that was really cool. And I was awarded the Compassion All-Star Award at my school for this project. That was an unexpected blessing. Um, so yeah, I those are just like some recent experiences, but I mean, I've worked with low income populations. I've worked with veterans. I've worked with seniors. Most of my work has been with children, though, and I really think that that's where my heart is. And I mean, we are helping the youth develop for how they're going to be in the future. And I really feel like nature helps them grow. It helps their brains grow. It helps them connect with others. It helps them teach them the value of life. And also, just, in light of what's going on, like politically, and, these discussions about anti racism and diversity, I really feel like nature is a great ground for that, because there's so much biodiversity in nature, and there isn't one that's like superior to the other. They are all working together. They all are beautiful and they all are different. And it's important to reflect that as people. We are all different and we are all beautiful and we all have value. And that's really important. The bees are a big deal too, and the butterflies and the pollinators. We're in serious threat of losing them, and without them, these flowers and these fruits and these wonderful things they bring can't grow. And so it also teaches kids to recognize when there's a population that's suffering more than others. And there's a lot of talks about that. And so I feel like there's some really powerful natural connections in there, educationally. And, my work with the National Geographic Society, helping other teachers become certified all over the world. I was doing that last year as a mentor. We're all about helping to develop an explorer's mindset and to keep them curious, to empower them, to teach them the value of responsibility. And all of that is like inherently healing to people that otherwise feel very disempowered and marginalized and don't have a way to um, they might not have a voice to express that, but nature gives them that opportunity, because in the field of nature, like, we are all equal, we are all valuable, we all have meaning, we have a way to connect. And so yeah, I feel like I just like totally ran on that path all over the place. Thank you for letting me do that. But yeah, I mean, nature is profound. Back to what you were saying.
That's great. Thank you, Catherine. Catherine, in your work with people of all ages and backgrounds with nature, what are some of the effects that you've seen? You mentioned with the youth their desire to take care of things and to be caregivers when maybe they themselves feel out of control in their own lives. They can have some control with helping to care for plants and their exploration of nature. What about what have you seen, across ages and backgrounds, and that experience of using nature as a means of a voice or an outlet, as you mentioned?
That's a really great question. One thing I have seen across all ages and backgrounds in the populations I've worked with is that their eyes light up. They are engaged. They're breaking outside of their cycle. Like, maybe they have some trauma that they're processing, or maybe they have some kind of disability, or maybe they just are having a bad day. And then they come and they work with nature, whether it's flower arrangements or making aromatherapy satchels. That's a really popular activity. Or doing painting leaves and making like leaf prints and art. Um, they, for a moment, whatever that they're dealing with in their lives, they are engaged in something that is leisurely and fun and has a high success rate. Like they have that sense of accomplishment because it's something that, you know, is simple to do, but so important. And they, it changes their mood, wherever they're coming from. Like I've never seen someone, I've never come had someone come work with me and do an activity that left them feeling angry or more upset afterwards. They always have appeared to have an elevated mood, and they ask lots of questions, and they I just love seeing people engaged, and it's they're growing their brain in that moment. Like you're never too old to grow your brain. They say like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I am going to fight you on that because this nature helps create a new neural pathway in your brain that opens possibility for um, learning something new, and it literally helps your brain grow, and it helps you grow spiritually too. Something as simple as taking care of a plant can mean the world to somebody. It gives them that sense of responsibility. And I've just seen that across all different groups, is that they have elevated mood, they feel good about themselves, they're curious, and for a moment are they break outside of whatever it is that's disturbing their peace, and they find a little bit of that with nature. And my hope is that it will continue to inspire them to, keep doing that. I mean, I can plant the seed, but they have to water it, they have to give it sunlight, they have to, put the time and the energy into it. And on that topic, I think about another experiment I did when I was at Portland Community College, and we had three different plants. They're just like, simple. I don't remember what the plant was, but they were like simple to grow. But we did an experiment with my group. With one set of plants, we would say really positive, loving things like, "You're beautiful. I love you. Keep growing. You're amazing. I'm proud of you." We would say those things. To one set of plants, we were saying like, we were dropping F bombs and saying, "I hate you, please die." We were saying like really horrible things. And then with the third set, we just completely like ignored them. Just like we did the basics of like giving them water and sunlight, but we didn't talk to them or anything. And the plants, as you can imagine, the ones that were getting the really positive, loving attention, they grew taller and they grew faster and healthier than the other two. The plants where we were saying like negative, like really horrible profanity, saying that stuff, they didn't grow as high or as tall or as much. In fact, some of them looked wilty. And mind you, they were all getting the same amount of water, same amount of sunlight, etc. The ones that we completely ignored and didn't pay any attention to hardly grew at all. And I really think that that's how the human brain is. If you're being fed this information that you are a piece of crap and you have no value, and people don't appreciate you, your brain is going to develop that way. It literally changes your brain chemistry.
Wow, that's incredible, Catherine. I can't believe that you actually took three different sets of plants and ran this experiment on them. That is absolutely remarkable to see the outcome of that in plants. I love that you did this experiment and this outcome that is really so fascinating. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh, Catherine, so this really is incredible. But for the person listening and saying, okay, I've got a lot of healing to do, nature, all right, Catherine can help me heal, sure, whatever. How do I get started? How do I even start?
I'd say as soon as you're done listening to this chat, go take off your shoes and go walk outside on the bare grass. Notice the sensations, notice how your breathing changes, notice your heart slowing down, Like don't say anything. Just take it in. That you get started just within 5 minutes of doing that. It can be very, very simple. Just notice how your physiology changes. Notice how your thoughts change. Notice the, sensory input, you know, does the ground feel cold? Is it wet? Does it feel kind of muddy? What do I notice in the grass? Do I see any mushrooms growing? Do I see, you know, uh, a stray leaf from a tree that fell down? Do I see, any birds? Just like take like 5 minutes minimum to just go walk on the earth with your bare feet and look around you. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, maybe you're not in an area where, you can, walk barefoot. I understand that too. There are definitely areas that I wouldn't do that in. Go to your favorite park or a favorite um, nature spot and just spend like maybe 20 minutes there and notice, maybe take a journal with you. I know you just did a talk about journaling. I've always had journals and I love nature journaling, especially. And just document how you feel before and how you feel after, or even just sit there and just document what you're noticing. That was another nature practice I did at Evergreen State College. We would go to the same nature spot, like every 3 months or something. We would go and we would notice how the space changed, and we would just write about it. And that was really powerful too, just noticing how nature changes and how we are always changing. The only constant in life is change. The seasons change, and so do we. No matter where you're at in your mental health journey or physical health journey or spiritual health, wherever you're at, nature can heal you. It is definitely possible. And as I said before, I believe it is essential and supplemental to any person's treatment plan. I believe in that very much. And I can sit here and talk to you about it all day. Like, I have tons of knowledge, but what matters is that you actually get outside and do it. So,
Yes,
yeah.
I love it. Catherine, that's right. You can provide all of the studies, all of the information, but at the end of the day, people have to get out and participate in nature. So that is so true. I love it. Well, let's allow people to get out and participate, because we could talk forever and, people want to get out there and enjoy it, I am sure. So, Catherine, is there anything else that you would like to add? And where can people get in touch with you? How can people connect with you if they'd like to learn more?
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to add. I want to keep this kind of short and sweet just to be respectful of everyone's time. And I will say my website is undergoing changes right now, so I don't have one to give you, but you can email me at dolphinhealingartsandnature@gmail.com. Also, if you search for me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Um, I have a TikTok where I do spiritual card readings with animals. That's a really popular service that I offer. So yeah, you can find me at any of those different sites, and email is best. So I check email regularly and I check social media regularly. So feel free to reach out and connect with me. I'm always happy to help. And I will say, with all my services, I do sliding scale, 10 to 100, whatever is suitable to your budget. But even if someone can't afford to pay and they just need help, I will help you, because I really strongly believe that, you know, financial situations should never bar you from getting the help that you need. And it's about service. So, yeah, that's what I have to say.
Great. Well, Catherine, thank you so much for joining us on this chat along the path, sending you blessings and best wishes for your journey. And to all those listening, thank you for listening, sending blessings and best wishes to your journey. Gratitude. Thanks for tuning in to this chat along the path. Please like, share, and subscribe. Silence. Thank you for
Gratitude.
walking the path.
Cleaning.
Blessings
Nature.
and best wishes
Walking.
for your journey.
Journaling. Ritual. Silence.